This Charlie Kirk incident is getting insane. They are still looking for somebody else to blame this on. Donald Trump keeps saying he's coming for these radical left lunatics. Donald Trump, I'm sorry, he was not a Democrat, he was not trans, he was not black, he was not Latino, he was not Muslim, he was not Jewish, he was not an immigrant. He was raised by a Republican family. And yet bomb threats are being made to HBCU. They're accusing the shooter of being in a relationship with a trans person and saying that she was the one that convinced him to do this when that is not true at all. They're going off of unverified reports. They're saying he was Republican. What happened? He was radicalized by the left when he went to college. They're trying to blame college. They're saying it's video games now. Not one person has called for restrictions on guns. People are bringing up George Floyd. It's been 4 days since Charlie Kirk's assassination. No riots, no cities burned. Conservatives mourn, the left destroys. This is a reflection of what Charlie stood for: love over hate, faith over fear. The future of America looks bright if these values become popular again. The values you're talking about is the person that shot Charlie Kirk. What are you saying? Y'all were just declaring war online. You were literally threatening mass violence and mass shootouts, saying you're ready to clean up America. Somebody responded to him. A conservative set fire to Governor Shapiro's home just a few months ago. Melissa Hortman was murdered by a conservative 12 weeks ago. Cut the clickbait and take some responsibility. I mean, even Elon Musk is still looking for this imaginary enemy. I am now 100% confident that Charlie's assassination was carried out by a radical left-wing transgender terror cell. What does that even mean? Let's get the evidence. Seems likely. By the way, retweeted the fake narrative about him having this transgender girlfriend that radicalized him. First it was school, then it was the girlfriend, then it's video games. I mean, if that's the vision of America Patrick Bet David wants to live in and grow up in, then he has a lot of soul searching to do. In my last video, I said I think Trump and his constituents are gearing up for Trump to be a dictator. This morning, Laura Loomer posts, I was thinking about this over the last few nights while I couldn't sleep. I have to say, I do want President Trump to be a dictator. The left thinks he is, and I want the right to be as devoted to locking up and silencing our violent political enemies as they pretend we are. What happens to free speech? The more hate speech you spew, the more your public perception dies. That's how it goes. That's life. But I guess that consequence isn't good enough, because now we need to lock up Democrat political leaders who have all condemned the violence and said this is not okay. Nobody should be celebrated. Lock them up. Not only that, but Trump quadrupled down today saying the problem is on the left. I'm telling you, they're gearing up for something very bad. Watch this video.
Well, the problem is on the left. If you look at the problem is on the left. It's not on the right, like some people like to say on the right. The problem we have is on the left. And when you look at the agitators, you look at the scum that speaks so badly of our country, the American flag burnings all over the place, that's the left, that's not the right.
Do you plan on investigating?
We'll see. We'll be announcing. They're already under investigation. You know, they're already under major investigation. A lot of the people that you would traditionally say are on the left.
They're already under investigation?
Already under investigation.
He's already investigating his political opposition. Any political adversaries Trump has is now being investigated. Don't forget, just yesterday, Stephen Miller posted a video saying, we will find you and arrest you and take away your rights. We'll take away your money and lock you up. Implying he's going to do that over free speech, by the way. There is no way the president just said, the problem in America is actually the Americans. Really? It's the Americans? Anybody that disapproves of Donald Trump's hateful rhetoric is a problem. Did you just declare political investigations into 160 million people? Because that's half of America. As a matter of fact, I'm still confused on who the left is. Who does he consider the left? Say it with me, Trump. Anyone that doesn't support Nazi ideology is who you consider the left. I mean, for goodness sake, Elon Musk went to Germany and told them to not be ashamed of their history. He saluted on stage. And then Maga started recording themselves doing it and lost their jobs. They want to identify with billionaires so bad, but they're just not. These people do not live the same lives you live. The values you hold are different from the values they hold, at least the reasonings for your values. You know why Trump all of a sudden had this hardcore campaign for the Christian vote? I'm going to blow your mind right now. And I've been known this. 62% of Americans are Christian. That is 150 million people. Trump does not care that you're Christian. He has said many times in the past in many interviews that he does not identify as Christian. At least he doesn't believe in actual Christian beliefs. You just make up so much of America, it made you an easy target. There was already white Christian nationalists. He made you a very, very easy target because you believe in faith. All he does is have to talk about God 3 times and you're all in, which is disappointing because as a Christian, I would think you would be able to spot an antichrist when you see one. I mean, just pay attention to this Freudian slip.
It'll be fixed. It'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians. I love you, Christians. I'm a Christian. I love you. Get out. You got to get out and vote. In 4 years, you don't have to vote again. We'll have it fixed so good you're not going to have to vote.
Not only did he agree to having it fixed and rigged in the future, telling you don't have to vote again, he accidentally went on stage and said, "I'm not Christian." Want more insight on this? Here is Trump not being able to quote a single Bible verse.
I'm wondering what one or two of your most favored Bible verses are and why.
I wouldn't want to get into it because to me that's very personal. You know, when I talk about the Bible, it's very personal, so I don't want to get into verses. I don't want to get into...
There's no verse that means a lot to you that you think about or cite?
The Bible means a lot to me, but I don't want to get into specifics.
Even to cite a verse that you like?
No, I don't want to do that.
You're an Old Testament guy or a New Testament guy?
Probably equal.
You hear that? He's an equal testament guy. Because nothing's better for plausible deniability than trying to remain as neutral as you can because you know nothing about the subject you are speaking on. This is a guy that likes to brag, and I've never heard a Christian say, "I don't want to say my favorite Bible verse." They could tell you that lickety split. It's in their bio probably. It might be tattooed on them. Here's Trump saying he's never asked God for forgiveness.
So we've got people lined up for questions. I just got one more, because you used the word Christian. Have you ever asked God for forgiveness?
That's a tough question. I don't think in terms of... I'm a religious person. Shockingly, because people are so shocked when they find this out, I'm Protestant. I'm Presbyterian. And I go to church, and I love God, and I love my church. And Norman Vincent Peale, the great Norman Vincent Peale, was my pastor. The Power of Positive Thinking. Everybody's heard of Norman Vincent Peale. He was so great. He would give a sermon you never wanted to leave. Sometimes we have sermons, and every once in a while we think about leaving a little early, right, even though we're Christian. Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, Frank, would give a sermon. I'm telling you, I still remember his sermons. It was unbelievable. And what he would do is he'd bring real-life situations, modern-day situations, into the sermon. And you could listen to him all day long. When you left the church, you were disappointed that it was over. He was the greatest guy. And then, you know, he passed away, but he was a great... He wrote The Power of Positive Thinking, which is a great book.
But have you ever asked God for forgiveness?
I'm not sure I have. I just go and try and do a better job from there. I don't think so. I think if I do something wrong, I think I just try and make it right. I don't bring God into that picture.
Name one Christian that has never asked God for forgiveness. How do you even become a Christian without asking God for forgiveness? He can't even admit he's wrong to God. My grandma is a very, very strong Christian. She asks God for forgiveness every single night, every morning, every afternoon, multiple times a day. She was praying all the time. This is somebody that wrote a Bible, by the way, and sold it for like $90. Made in China. I don't get it. We all agreed for years that billionaires were harmful to society for the most part. And a billionaire comes along and treats you exactly like the billionaires you condemn. He hires friends and family, not qualified people, sells you Bibles, meme coins. Some say they wanted a businessman as president. Why would that ever be a good idea when businesses' jobs are to maximize profits? You will learn that in any basic economics or international business class. Speaking of business, he's bankrupted 6 of them, and he's bankrupting America too. Not only of money, but of morals, values, and integrity. I also want to give a shout out to these women claiming their country back from racists and fascists.
This is what community looks like. Show me what community looks like. This is what community looks like. Show me what community looks like. This is what community looks like.
Pink signs were a great addition. I just don't get why the narrative keeps moving. Why does there always need to be a narrative with Maga? Why can't we just make the country better for everybody? Why can't we come together and stop having to hate blame somebody all the time? Here was Donald Trump's son after what happened to Charlie Kirk saying they have awoken the sleeping enemy. Who is they? Yourselves?
They were being taught revisionist history in the classrooms, and honestly, it all changed. And honestly, that it all has Charlie's DNA in it. So we're going to miss a great friend, but they have definitely awoken that sleeping enemy.
Eric, thank you.
They always do that stupid smirk after they say something dumb, but they're so proud of themselves every time.
That sleeping enemy.
Eric, thank you.
Now here is Stephen Cox, the governor of Utah, accusing Tyler Robinson, the shooter, of being in a relationship with a trans girlfriend.
Well, some outlets are reporting that the suspect lived with a transgender partner Is that accurate? And are investigators looking at this part of his life as a possible motivation?
Yes, definitely. And yes, I can confirm that. I know that has been reported, and that the FBI has confirmed that as well, that the roommate was a romantic partner, a male transitioning to female. I can say that that he has been very cooperative. This partner has been incredibly cooperative, had no idea that this was happening, and is working with investigators right now.
Yet again, nobody else to shift the blame to. I said in my past few videos, they always look for a different hate topic. If it doesn't stick, it's the next one. Doesn't stick, next one. Did I get a big enough reaction? We stay on this till we find the next big thing. I couldn't imagine living my life like that. Why do you need an enemy in your own country? If you want an enemy that bad, please go join a recreational sport. Games have plenty of imaginary enemies to fulfill that addiction, that need to conquer some opposing force that's coming for you. You don't have to be afraid all the time. And if you are afraid, the call is coming from inside the house. Trump said out of his mouth that Charlie Kirk was a martyr. How are you still pushing an initiative to benefit yourself off of this event? Everything needs to benefit him somehow. Let's watch the video.
This is transcending not only the youth generation, but also the older generations. This is a hit on our country. It's a hit on our movement. It's a hit on, Christianity. It's a hit on religion. It's a hit on freedom. It's kind of emphasized the dichotomy between good and evil in this country, and they truly have awoken that sleeping giant, just not within the youth vote, but really transcending everybody who's in this nation. It's had such a profound effect on this nation, and seeing Erica on there, she was so unbelievably articulate, so unbelievably strong. This could have been the greatest mistake these people have ever made.
Who is these people? Once again, he was right. He was Maga. He was raised by Republicans. It was a straight white male. So who are we fighting? Yourselves? I don't get it. I'm still not understanding. Who are we even mad at specifically? Nobody was surprised at the identity of the individual that committed that act except for y'all. And you're still mad. At who? Who woke what up? And who are you coming for? This level of stupidity doesn't feel real. But I get it. Pushing a narrative makes you money. It keeps them distracted. No one's talking about the Epstein files. I understand it on that level. But how do you live with yourself? How do you live with yourself knowing you live a life like this? Poisoning the minds of millions of people daily. How do you even enjoy any type of benefit that can come from that? I couldn't imagine. You're keeping them angry. They can't focus on their bills. They can't focus on the fact that their Gen Z children can't afford houses and probably will never own a house until like the age of 40, 45, unless they get roommates. Or they came from a rich family. They got very, very fortunate. You distracted from the fact that there's more unemployed people than jobs available in America. Even though you deported all the immigrants who were supposedly taking all the jobs. But there's less jobs now, and you deported a lot of them. Who's the enemy? No one's talking about BLM, George Floyd, except y'all. Black people minding their own business, moving on with life. Why are you so angry? How can you sit here and push this Christian narrative while you come on TV and lie to everybody on purpose to keep them hateful and angry? There's people getting evicted right now as I speak, still angry at some imagined enemy you told them to be mad at. They're raising their kids to be like this. Your father made you billions of dollars. You don't have to do this. We are only a year into this presidential term, and I have never seen America so hateful. The level of inauthenticity is off the charts. Everyone's a liar. One incredibly rich group of people is telling half of America these imaginary enemies are coming to kill you. All of them. Lastly, there is no enemy in America. There is a liar, and his name is Donald Trump. Just a group of very wealthy people who want you to focus less on how much more money they have than you. Focus more on blaming your circumstances on somebody else that has nothing to do with it. People are being emotionally manipulated by the news, social media sites, and their own president. However, truth will always prevail, and what's done in the dark will come to light. They can lie all they want, but we're always going to be here to call it out. Because not bringing justice to corrupt organizations, knowing you could have done something, is an injustice in and of itself. And we can have our communities back. We already have a community. And in our community, we want the Epstein files, Donald Trump. Release the Epstein files. Republicans once again blocked the Senate vote on September 10th. This happened to be the same day the Charlie Kirk incident happened. We want those Epstein files. We're not going to let up. The distractions will not work. They're ineffective. We want justice. Thank you very much for watching my videos. Hope you have a great day. Please make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope to see you next time.